Hi, I'm Phyllis and my website is southernfrugal.com. This afternoon we're going to make some 1950s cinnamon raisin loaf. And this is just my version. I'm just using a simple basic sweet dough recipe, and we'll add the cinnamon and raisins later, but it is a yeast dough. And so we're going to get started. Now in this cup I've got 1/2 cup of milk, and I scalded that in the microwave. In my microwave it takes 1 minute and 30 seconds just till it kind of bubbles up a little bit, and then I put 1/4 of a stick of butter, or let's see, that would be 4 tablespoons of butter in that milk that's really hot, and it just melts it. So that would be 1/2 cup milk and 1/4, well, 4 tablespoons we'll say, of butter, or 1/2 stick of butter. So I'm going to dump that in there. Now I am using my KitchenAid to knead this dough because my thumb is still bothering me. Alright, now to this we're going to also add 1/2 cup of just regular sugar, 2 large eggs, and 1½ teaspoons of salt. We're just going to mix this up a little bit, then we're going to add our yeast in. Just get that kind of mixed in there real good. Now you can use a hand mixer for this, or a whisk, and then once you start, I'm going to knead the dough in the KitchenAid, but you can also knead it by hand. It would need to probably be kneaded for about 10 minutes. Alright, I'm going to turn this up, so hold on, we'll be right back. Alright, so we've got that mixed up pretty good, and now we're going to add our yeast. Now, for the yeast, you need 1/2 cup of filtered water, preferably, and 3 teaspoons of active dry yeast. And you want to, I just always prove mine, make sure it foams up. That tells you that it's all fully alive. So we're going to dump that in, get all that foam and everything out of there. So again, that's 3 teaspoons of active dry yeast mixed in with 1/2 cup of filtered water that's about 105 to 115 degrees. You don't want the water too hot. All right, we're just going to mix this again real good. So now to this, all the liquid that's going to go in the recipe, we're going to mix in 4½ cups of bread flour, any type, or you could use all-purpose flour, but bread flour would be best. Alright, so I'm going to put this in using a big chunky spoon. Keep it on low so it doesn't sling the flour everywhere. Now you're going to have to let this dough rise for, well, it's probably going to take an hour, but you want it to double in bulk. And again, you can use an electric hand mixer for this, for the liquid at about half the flour, and then you'll have to take it out and start kneading it by hand if you don't have some kind of mixer that has a dough hook with it. And I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. going to let this knead for, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, and we'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so I let this knead in the KitchenAid for about 6 minutes. Now this is going to be a sticky dough. Put a glove on my, at least on this hand. Alright, so now we're ready to take it out. Now I've got a bowl here that I have greased with some oil, just any kind of oil will work. We're going to take this off the hooks. And it should have cleaned the bowl. You know, all the flour should be out of the bowl. Take this out. Alright, let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to take that out of there. See, the bowl is cleaned of all the flour. So I'm going to put it down in this bowl where it's going to rise. And I'm going to kind of turn it over and around to coat the top with the oil that I put in the bowl, just so it doesn't stick. Now we'll put saran wrap over this, and over here I've got my heating pad, just a regular heating pad like the kind you get in the pharmacy, and I put it up on a little trivet. So hold on, let me get that. Alright, so I've got my heating pad actually on high, and I've got a little grate there, and I just put a pot holder on it because this metal will actually get pretty warm. Cover the bowl with saran wrap, sit it right there, and I'm going to put a little towel or cover over it. Take it about an hour to rise. Alright, so we're going to use the raisins. Now I'm using the light colored raisins. You just want a half a cup of raisins, put a little water in it, put it in the microwave for about a minute and get that water heated up, and just let the raisins plump up in there. Now we're going to drain the water out of it when we use these raisins. And again, that's half a cup of raisins. Alright y'all, we'll be back in about an hour. Now I'll show you the pans I'm using are 5 by 9, but they're only 2.5 inches tall. I wish they were taller, but this is what I've got. So I think this will work for 2 of this size, or would even work for the taller size, but in this size the bread's going to rise up above it. So, alright y'all, we'll be back in about an hour. Alright, we are back, and it's really been less than an hour, and the dough has doubled in bulk. Now how do I know that? Because you want to put your finger in it, and if the indentation just stays there, you know it's ready. So we're going to divide this in half. Just going to cut it with the scissors, make it easier. Alright, so now we're going to put some flour on our board, and we're going to roll both of these out at the same time. And remember, this is a sticky dough because it's got lots of sugar in it. Well, not lots, but some. So we're going to take half of it out. And what we want to do is roll it out, make it flat, and kind of in an oblong shape. I'm going to do the same with this one. Oh, y'all couldn't see. Let me turn it down right there. So I'm just going to do this with my hands right to start with. Just get an oblong shape if you can, because we're going to be rolling this up. Sprinkle a little bit of flour on top. that. I'm just going to roll it out. We're going to put our cinnamon on and some sugar. And we're also going to first brush it with some melted butter. A little bit more. This doesn't have to be perfect. And I went ahead and greased my pans with some Crisco, just because for me that works better than spraying it with oil and all that. Because when I do that, sometimes it sticks. A little bit more. All right, that's about right. All right, so now I've got about it's about 4 tablespoons again of butter that's been somewhat melted. I'm just going to brush that all on the top of this. This is very similar to making cinnamon rolls, really, except we're going to make it in a loaf rather than in rolls. Let me get some of that butter on both of these. Pretty good. All right, that ought to be enough. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and sprinkle it with the cinnamon, and you can do as much of the cinnamon as you would like. I don't like so much. Some people like a whole bunch more than this. So what this is going to do is sort of make a swirl design in the bread, and it is going to be a sweet bread. That's about enough, and now I'm simply going to just take some sugar and sprinkle that over the cinnamon. Not too much. There we go. Now after I get these rolled up, they're going to have to rise up again till doubled in bulk, which will take about another hour maybe. Alright, that ought to be enough. And now we're going to put our raisins on. We'll use half the raisins on one and half on the other. And this was a half a cup of raisins that has been soaked in hot water that I heated up in the microwave. And then let them soak while the bread, the first rising for the bread. All right, now this is like the 1950s cinnamon raisin loaf, but I've got a lot more raisins in mine than they put in theirs. They were kind of chinchy with the raisins, I always thought. Yeah, all right. So now what we're going to do is just roll it up. Try to roll it up tight. Like that. Try to keep your raisins, located there in the middle. Now you want to just pull that bottom last part up and just start pinching it real tight. Because you don't want any of the raisins to come out. You want to pinch the ends. Like that, and just pinch them and turn them over a little bit. Push that end in a little bit. Just pinch it over real hard again. There's Here's one of the loaves. So we're just going to put it right in our pan and let this double in size too. Now it should fill out the pan and rise up above it. And for the second rise on these, what I'm going to do is put it in my oven with the light on. And I'll probably put a little pan of hot water in there to keep everything moist. Usually just a thing of hot water is enough, along with the light in the oven on. Alright, let's get this one rolled up. Keep them raisins in. Just pull it up and really pinch it hard and roll it over. Pinch it really hard. Then push the end in and pinch that really hard. Yeah, we used to get this cinnamon raisin loaf at the grocery store. One week I would go to the grocery store with my dad, and the next week my older sister had to go. And we would usually get a loaf of this. All right. Put it in the pan. Now we're not going to make a slit in the top of it, although you could if you wanted to. Maybe we will one of them just to show you. Yeah, we'll just do one. Just put some little snippets in there. Like that. Alright, we're going to put these in the oven, let them rise up till they're doubled in bulk, and then we're going to bake them. So we'll be back. Alright, the bread has doubled in bulk. See where I cut it on the top there? That didn't work out so good, did it? Yeah. So now we're going to go ahead and bake it. And so I'm going to start it out just at 350. And it'll take it about 10 minutes to warm up. And don't look at my dirty oven. And so during that 10 minutes, it'll rise a little bit more. And so we're probably going to cook this for about 30 minutes, taking into account the fact that we turned it on and are letting the bread rise a little more while it's heating up the oven. So 30 minutes ought to do it. We'll be back. All right, the bread's done. I did have to switch it to the bottom rack because these pans are really thick. And so to get it brown on the bottom, or a little bit brown, I have to switch it to the bottom rack. It cooked a total of 25 minutes. That's from beginning to end. All right, we're going to let these cool and might put a little icing on the top of the bread. All right, we'll be back. All right, here's what they look like out of the pan. I do have to put those pans on the bottom rack about the last 10 minutes or so of baking because the pans are so thick they don't brown real good. All right. We're going to make some icing for this one. We're going to leave that one plain. This one will be like the 1950's cinnamon raisin bread. All right, we'll be back. All right, our loaves of bread have cooled enough. I'm going to go ahead and make a little icing. I'll probably put it on both of them. All right, so what I've got in the pot here is a couple of tablespoons of butter and a couple of tablespoons of just honey. And I'm going to take that off the burner. And I'm just going to add a little bit of half and half. If you don't have half and half, regular milk will work just as well. Just 2 or 3 tablespoons. A little splash of vanilla extract. Squish that around a little bit. Let me move y'all back. And now we're going to add some confectionery sugar. Put a pinch of salt in there. Just literally a little pinch. Alright, so we'll start out with 1 cup of confectionery sugar. Let's make that 1.5 cups. Well, let's just mix it up first. We'll see how that looks. because we're not making a sauce here. We're actually going to make an icing. Yeah, all right, so let's go ahead and add another cup of confectionery sugar. Hopefully that will be enough. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so I'm going to keep mixing this till I get it smooth, and then we'll put it on the loaves of bread. All right, there's what the icing looks like, and it really needs to be kind of thick. Y'all see that? Can't tell on my screen. All right. So we're just going to put it right on the top. Yeah, in the 1950s, this particular type of bread was very popular, and they only iced it right on the top to where it kind of curved down. And they had it in a little plastic wrapper. And I think kids liked it so much because it had such a thick icing on it. Yeah, they only iced it, the top part, and then that part where it just kind of curls down on the loaf. Y'all see what I'm, oh, y'all couldn't see. There. So we're just icing it down to that part where the bread curved, where it kind of poofed out over the pan. Like that. Yeah, and that icing was thick. I remember we all loved it. All right, there's what it looks like. We're going to slice it in just a minute. Now for this next loaf, what I'm going to do, because obviously in the 1950s they didn't split the loaf like I split that one. And so what I'm going to do is add a little more milk to this and make it a lot thinner, because I don't have that much left anyway, and kind of drizzle it over the top of this next loaf. But this recipe will make 2 nice loaves. Just mix that up a little bit. That honey will keep it from getting sugary. So we got a little drizzle we're going to put on this other one. And I am going to put the recipe ingredients for these 2 loaves right down below the video. We're just going to let that run all down. Like that. There are the 2 loaves. This one is not like the 1950s. This one is like the 1950s. All right, we're going to let this just set just a little bit, and then we're going to slice it and show you what it looks like. There's what it looks like. 1950s cinnamon raisin bread. I'm pretty sure that was the name of it. All right, y'all are always wanting me to taste of what I cook. So a taste of this. Of course, I'm getting a piece that's got icing on the top. Very good. Tastes exactly like what we used to get in the 1950s. Let me take this off and show y'all a little better. There. I think you can see the raisins in there. I don't see, well, I see one in my piece right there. This one's got some in it there, and on the other side. That's Mr. Bucky's piece, and that's my piece. Now what we used to do is sometimes we would toast it, and what we would do is stick it under the broiler, and as soon as that icing started melting, we would scrape it off and rub it on there, and sometimes even put butter on it. So good. All right, y'all. We will see y'all next time. Bye for now.